On the 4th of June 2010, at Skyline Elementary School in Oregon, Kyron Horman disappeared mysteriously after attending a science fair. His disappearance became the largest criminal investigation in the history of Oregon, but the boy has never been found to date. Stick around until the end of this video to find out how Kyron Horman vanished. The science fair that ended in a tragedy. Though Kyron was looking forward to the 4th of June 2010, he had no idea that this day would change everything. It was the day of the annual science fair at his school, Skyline Elementary. Kyron was 7 years old at the time and was in 2nd grade. He had set up his project with the assistance of his stepmother, Terri Moulton. Kyron had an interest in forensic science. During the day he disappeared, he was wearing a CSI t-shirt with a logo from the crime procedural show. He was proud of his project, Red-Eyed Tree Frogs, and was also looking forward to learning more about his schoolmates' projects. On the morning of his disappearance, Kyron's father, Kyron Horman, promised him ice cream after school. Since Kyron had to go to work, he could not take the boy to school. He told the boy he loved him and asked Terri Moulton, his stepmother, to take him. Little did Kyron know, this was the last time he would talk to his son or even set eyes on him. Terri and her baby Kiara accompanied Kyron to the science fair. According to Gina Zimmerman, the president of the school PTA, Terri and Kyron were standing together next to his exhibit at the science fair at 8:15 a.m. Terri even took pictures of Kyron with his project and posted them on Facebook. Did this act show that she was proud of her stepson, or was it part of a cover-up? Well, nobody knows. At around 8:45 a.m., after Kyron's exhibit, Terri claimed that she saw her stepson walking down the hall towards his classroom. However, nobody in the class saw Kyron. He was marked absent that day and seemed to have vanished into thin air. Later that day, Kyron returned home from work at 2 p.m. Kyron, Terri, and their daughter Kiara walked down to the school bus stop at around 3:35 p.m. to pick up Kyron after school. Kyron was looking forward to embracing his son, but when the school bus arrived, Kyron was nowhere to be seen. Imagine the panic he must have felt. Kyron's head was full of questions, and he wondered whether Kyron had been confused by the fact that his stepmother, Terri, had driven him to school in the morning. He hoped that maybe the child was still in school waiting for the stepmother to pick him up. Terri called the school to confirm whether Kyron was still there, but the school informed her that Kyron was never in school the entire day. No one at school reported seeing Kyron on that day. The teachers assumed that Terri had probably taken Kyron to the doctor since they had had such a discussion the previous week. However, don't you think that was negligence on the teacher's part? I believe that the best cause of action that the teacher could have taken after noticing that Kyron was absent was to call the parents immediately to confirm why this was the case. After this call, Terri and Kyron were paralyzed with fear, and Kyron decided to call the police since he could not help but think that his son had been kidnapped. The search for Kyron Horman. As soon as the police were notified of the missing child, they organized a large-scale search. They arrived at the parents' home and Skyline Elementary to get more information on the case. Families in the neighborhood were informed of Kyron's disappearance. The search for the 7-year-old boy was not only focused on the school but also the surrounding areas. The police covered a 2-mile radius around the school and also searched Selby Island, which was 6 miles away from the school. However, the police had never disclosed why they searched this specific island. Some believe that the area was searched since one of the suspects' phones was pinged off a cell tower that was used to service Selby Island. Since the sheriff's office was unsure whether they were dealing with a lost child or abduction, they called the FBI. The Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team came to assist in the search. By the 12th of June, over 300 trained rescuers were searching wooded regions around the school for Kyron. The search spanned 10 days, and it included more than 1,300 researchers, not only from Oregon but also from California and Washington. However, the search was not easy due to harsh weather conditions, and the school was in a hilly region surrounded by steep inclines. Though hundreds of children and their parents were interviewed on Kyron's disappearance, the authorities did not get new information from them. The case was also aired on the media across the Pacific Northwest, but there were no leads. The parents and the police were so desperate to find the child that they even offered a reward of $25,000 for the discovery of the boy. This reward even expanded to $50,000 by June 2010, but no one ever claimed it since Kyron was never found. A week after Kyron vanished, the family broke their silence and spoke at a press conference. They thanked the search team for their efforts to search for their son and asked anyone who had any details on Kyron's disappearance to call the police. You're probably wondering, what was the mother's reaction? Terri may have gotten the privilege to raise Kyron, but his biological mother, Desiree Young, was still alive. As expected, she was shocked by the news of her son's disappearance and stated that Kyron would not run away from home or wander off. She believed that her child was abducted. Kane, the father, also shared the same sentiments. Shocking twists emerge. 24 days after Kyron went missing, Kane filed for divorce against his wife Terri. Though there seemed to be trouble in paradise, the couple tried to keep their issues away from the public eye for a while. Authorities are believed to have approached Kane with shocking news about his wife. Their landscaper, Rodolfo Sanchez, had given a deposition claiming that Terri, his wife, approached him with an offer to give him a lot of money if he helped her murder her husband, Kane. According to Rodolfo, Terri wanted to kill her husband because he was emotionally and physically abusive, and she was afraid that he would take Kiara, their daughter, away. This offer is believed to have been proposed 5 months before the disappearance of Kane's son Kyron. Shocking, right? Terri denied the charges and was quick to lawyer up. The investigators were determined to get to the bottom of this, so they set up Rodolfo Sanchez with an audio surveillance device to try and get a confession from Terri. However, Terri seemed to have outsmarted them since they could not get any evidence to make an arrest. Imagine what Kane must have gone through upon getting this news. He could not take the betrayal anymore, and he decided to file for a divorce. He even got a restraining order against his ex-wife Terri and filed for custody of their daughter Kiara. Were there any suspects in the disappearance of Kyron? Due to the legal proceedings and the emerging twist in the family, Terri became a suspect in the disappearance of Kyron Horman. During investigations, she failed 2 polygraph tests. Though Kane, Desiree, and Desiree's husband worked together to continue searching for the missing child, Terri showed little interest in the case. In the divorce case, Kane stated that he believed that Terri, the stepmother, was somehow responsible for the disappearance of his son, and that she was a threat to their daughter Kiara. Desiree, Kyron's mother, even made a public plea for Terri to tell the truth about what happened to her son and told the reporters that she was not cooperating with the investigation since she had refused to talk with the detectives. Terri was also a suspect because some witnesses told the investigators that a person was sitting in her truck outside the school the day Kyron disappeared. However, the police never learned of the identity of this person. Another suspect in the case that was investigated was Dee Dee Spitzer, a close friend of Terri. Kane and Desiree told the police that Dee Dee was in constant communication with Terri, and she gave her advice that was not in the best interest of her stepson Kyron. It's also believed that Dee Dee helped Terri buy an untraceable phone. Don't you find this suspicious? However, Dee Dee told the police that she was working the day Kyron went missing. Unlike Terri, Dee Dee passed the polygraph test. She always maintained that she had nothing to do with the disappearance of Kyron. Though Terri remained the main suspect, the detectives had never gotten any physical evidence to support this speculation. In June 2012, Desiree filed a lawsuit against Kyron's stepmother Terri. She asked for monetary damages but later dropped it. Despite multiple searches for Kyron Horman over the years, the boy has never been found. Though the parents, Kane and Desiree, have always been optimistic that they will one day find their son alive and well, they have accepted that their son is probably deceased. Thanks for watching.